Good afternoon. This video we are taking is called Knowing Better About This Machine, Typing Machine. First of all, when you receive this machine, you have to unscrew the nuts or bolts for the 4 feet and take off from the pallet. Next step, what you need to do is connect the power. This is the main power. This machine requires 3-phase 220 voltage. And the N, which is right here, the letter N, it goes to the nuclear or negative line, or we call maybe zero line. And all other 3, red, yellow, green, that we call hot line. And these 3 you can switch either to make sure the spindle and the rolling table goes to the right position. That might be you might be gonna need to do adjust a little bit to make sure the loading table and the machine goes to the right position. After the wires connect, you can turn on the power. Right now this is off, and turn on the power. The next step you will need to do is connecting the pneumatic power. Here is a pneumatic system power on the right side of the machine, and if the valve connect valve is not fit on your side or your pneumatic pump machine, you can always change the valve. And here is a push in, push out to release the air, push in to insert the air. And I can turn on the air pump. After air is done and the power is done, the next step is we are connecting the cooling pump. For the cooling pump, here has a pipe, goes to the pump, connect with pump, send the cooling water to the machine. And this is a water pump, and here's a power line, goes to the plug next to the pneumatic cylinder. And here is the water, is to collect the cooling water from the machine. So that is a part for the cooling system. After the pump is connect, air is connect, power is connect, and next step we are coming to here. This box is called electronic box. Here we call PLC, Siemens PLC, and this is the main power. Mostly I will turn off for the shipping, so when you receive it, you make sure after power connect, make sure turn on the power, and those are relayed, and this is the main source to do the voltage change, because the machine takes 380 voltage, so we got a voltage change to make sure the typing machine requires 220 voltage. And if in the future, if you want to add more lines or more source to the PLC, here is the middle PLC. You can connect those bottom line goes to the PLC, and the top there has some empty spot. You can go to connect with any like rubber arm or vibration ball feeder or anything you would like to be. After all that been done, and then we are come here. This is emergency stop button, or we call power button. When you release it, lights will be turned on, and the control panel on the PLC will be turned on. And take a while, and it will come out of the screen. You don't have to do anything, and just let it work on. And here have a 3 menu on the left side. Menu, setting, grinding off. When we press, right now it's grinding is on. When we pressed the red lights, that means grinding off. For the earlier setting, we have to make sure this grinding off. So when the hands in, machine will be not stop. And next, this is right here. We have the stop button, which is we can click this button to start the machine, or click the green button. They are same function. They are work same idea to start the machine. And the stop is pressed to make sure the machine stop. Or you can press red button to stop the machine. Or emergency issue, you can just press the red button in to cut off the power. And here, pump off, pump on, that is allow you to turn on the pump or turn off the pump by press pump on, pump off. And the reset machine is when there's alarm is come out, right? Alarm is come out, maybe some issue or some problem on the machine. You can just reset the machine to clear out all the alarm, or make sure the machine go back to the original position to start over. And alarm message reset. When the alarm's on, here will have some message tells you what's going on or what's problem with the machine, why the alarm is on. By here, you can reset the alarm to take release or delete the alarm message here. And here give you the count, like how many quantity you've been done, and you press reset count back to the 0. And now we are going to the menu screen by press menu off. When the red light on, which means we are going to the menu screen. So that always we do at the first time. Then press the menu screen, and here you can see first unit feeding. By press this button, you can see the first machine is feeding in. Press again, and by press the first number 1 unit reverse, so the first machine head will be reversed and spin away back to the 0 position. And the number 1 unit running, press this one, you can see the machine is make a 1 running circle, same as number 2 feeding, number 2 reverse, number 2 unit running. It will make the 1 running for the second machine. And this part X on unloading arm, which is for the unloading arm. When you press this button, it will move the cylinder left to right. And the Y on unloading arm, that will make the cylinder up and down for the unloading position. And if you click the unloading arm clamping, you will find out it will be runs 1 circle for the clamping the parts. And the index table turning, that is to rotate the turning table. By press this button, you can see the table is turning. And press work your parts, because we have a cylinder to hold the parts during the typing. Make sure the unit stays stable. So this is the cylinder, control the cylinder, to feed in to hold the parts. And the unloading arm running, it will get 1 circle to run the unloading arm. I press this button, so you can see the complete working processing. So next step is we are going to start changing the fixture. So here's the fixture. This is one for this type of the product. And in this toolbox, we have 2 more different sets. This type is for the square units. And this type is for the workpiece that has a circle and one typing hole unit only. And if you are doing by these workpieces, you have to do the clamping change also, because this clamping we designed, it can take out two parts, two workpieces out at the same times. Let me show you the current arm on the machine. As you can see, the current clamping arm, it only takes one pieces at one time. And so when you switch to this fixture, and make sure you also changing the unloading arm, clamping arm to this type. So which means with this fixture, you have to load in two parts at the same time. To changing the fixture is very easy and simple. Just to make sure there has a position pin inside and the loading on in the right position. Then using a rubber or plastic hammer to punch in. Make sure it's sealed, slide in, clearly sealed, and then pulled up on the both angle, locked up. Both handle on the side. Make sure lock up tightly. Right? After one position, one fixture change, then you bypass index table turning, and then you release the arm on the both sides. You might need a tool to help, right? To release and take off the fixture and replace a new one, and so on until you change all four fixtures. Make sure to the same type. After you changing the fixture, the next step, what we are going to do is changing the to set up the typing location. Because the fixture difference, it will because the typing location, the thread location is in different position. So for that purpose, we are using adjust here on the bottom. This we call index moving table. By release on the side, the tool on the side, after you release all the handles on the side, right? Release the handles. Release the handles. Then you just bypass the handles to moving the tab. The thread. You will see the thread back forward. Make sure this thread goes to the right position of the workpiece. Let me give you an example. So we turn the index table turning, and we can, to set up the location of the tab, the spindle position, we can always put a one workpiece on the fixture, right? And then by adjusting the wheel to see where's the tab, make sure the tab all the way on the top of the hole, on the top of this threading hole. There has a tricky part might be help you is you can feed in the spindle a little bit, not all the way, but a little, like one time press. So you can see the thread is around the top of the hole, and then you can do the adjustment a little bit more, then reverse. After you set up the position or location of the tab, make sure lock back all these nuts to lock down the table. To lock down this table, all the nuts, make sure tight up again. And to release it, you have to unscrew this ball, the nuts on the side, so then you can release it. Or you can leave the nuts, release it, and by adjust like this one, you can adjust here. By adjustment for the handle. But still, you might need to release little bit nuts here so you can turn on easily. And now after we setting both machine of the tab location of the thread location, so next step is we are setting the feeding distance, because the parts, the work pieces, they have a different height, will be cause longer or shortage of the spindle feeding. To change the feeding distance, this part you can see there has a two sensor. One is the start position, one is ending position. For the feeding distance, which is this circle, tells you how long it's feeding in. You can use in the Allen X wrench to release it, and you can move it down. Which will give you longer feeding distance. You can make it shorter, give you the shorter feeding distance. You don't want to go feeding too long, because you don't want to hurt your tab all the way to the fixture and break the tab. Even though we have the hose here, will cause the tab goes all the way in, will be not hurt the tab, but still you have to make sure you don't want the feeding distance gets too long. Make sure it's just enough to thread your work pieces. That also saves the working cycle. The short the feeding distance, fast of the machine is working. This is for sure. We'll be saving you 1 second or 2 seconds on the feeding or working processing for the one cycle. And the next step, what you will have to do is, after you setting up the position, fixture position, then you can to do the threading purpose by manually press one running, second running, X, and then the index table by manually. And if every position running perfectly, then we back to the home button, and then we can press start button to back to everything to the normal. Right now I don't want to do it because there has one fixture is wrong fixture. Let me make this one to out. Now we can try to the home, then you can press menu off and then press start button. You can see machine is running like one circle. And let me changing this fixture back to the original. Well, it will take time. You need a tool. Okay. Okay, now you can see I made the fixture change. Okay, sealed up. Nuts tied on. For both sides. After the parts on, taps on, and pump on, right? And then you can put one part in and either press start or on the bottom for the tap running, and then you can do the running. Probably you will need to run 4 pieces at one time to find out if the thread is perfect or not. I press one more button, and now we have one work piece is finished. It came out, and you can see the thread. Maybe if you can see the threads in the video or not, or I can show you the go no go gauge. Okay, and basically that is how you set up. And the next thing, you probably need to make sure it's called gear pitch change. You have made extra orders for the gear pitch. Here's the box. Like this is 24, which is 24 pitch, right? And this one 0.7, which means 0.7. Each set has 2 gears, A and B. And here's how we to change the gear pitch. On the side of the machine, on the side here, you can release the angle. Release the nuts, and you can, oh, this is too small. Oops. I guess it's this one. By using the 22 or 24, right? Now you need this 24. You can release the knot, and once this knot is released, you can use this handle to push out these gears. And after you replace it, make sure pitch A, gear A is on the back, gear B is to the front. Make sure they don't get reversed, otherwise you will get a wrong pitch size for the threading. And for the gear installed, after you take out the gears, and when you put it back, you can use this plastic hammer to punch in, and then put the nuts back and lock tight. After new gears put on, it's better to put some butter grease oil around the gears. So when the gear is running, it will give it some lubrication and also protect the pitch of the gear and make your gear sets runs longer life and better quality. So don't forget to add in the butter grease oil, not the liquid oil, butter grease oil. Make sure it will be stays on and lubricate the gear all the time. And the tricky part for the changing the gears, because right now position is the original position, inside the gear is hold the spindle. It's better moving the spindle down, all the way down, then take out the gear. That will save you the time. Otherwise, when you take out the gear, the spindle will be dropped. don't worry about that job. This is normal, but the best way is first feeding in the spindle to the lower position first, then take out the gears. That's the tricky part. And the second part is tap. Sometimes after while it's running, the pitch is gone or break by some reason or because quality reason. We have to make the tap change. The tap change is by holding the spindle with one nut and the wrench on the bottom, and to change the tap. Let me show you. For the tap changing, there has a tricky part. Here is a ER20 clamping. Sometimes if the pitch came out is not right, or no-go cannot stop, it means this clamper, this clamping, ER clamper, you need to replace it. Might be run off, so you need to replace it. And after you replace it with the new tap, by push in, push out, put it back to the spindle. And here has a very tricky part. You have to make sure the tip of the tap all the way above to your workpiece. So you don't want the loading table is turning and the workpiece hit your tap to break up. So always make sure your tap is higher, the tip of the tap higher than the top part of the work pieces. Always make sure this, keep in mind. After you put on, load up, tight up with the tools, and that's all about this machine. I didn't see any other problem issue or need to know about it. So if you have any question, feel free to let me know. Bye.